Now we're going to have a slideshow, which is one of my favorite parts of May Day every year, is the International Workers Slideshow. And it's going to be presented by Pamela Muzan and Joel Fishman, and it was created by Art Perlow. So welcome everybody to our International May Day slideshow.
International Worker Solidarity, COVID-19 and beyond. May Day this year takes place as the coronavirus pandemic has brought together workers in every country in solidarity and struggle against the pandemic, but also against inequality, racism, and war. On May Day this year, around the world, unions and working class organizations gathered in virtual May Day. Put workers' health before profits. Together, we demand social progress. Let the rich pay for the crisis. Health before profits. Tax the rich, save the poor. No cuts, no layoffs. Health before profits, and stop dismantling public health. In the US, hundreds of virtual May Day rallies were held by unions and others, including the People's World and the Communist Party.
In a May Day statement, AFL-CIO President Richard Trumka declared, "None of us are safe until all of us are safe. The labor movement is committed to protecting all workers, regardless of immigration status, and ensuring we can access testing, treatment, and benefits." In Hartford, a May Day honkathon circled the Capitol with support from SEIU 32BJ, Unidad Latina, the New Haven People Center, and many others. They called on Connecticut to follow California and Oregon and establish a fund to support undocumented workers, a proposal that has already support from a large group of Connecticut legislators.
While giant corporations see the pandemic as a chance to cut their taxes and get rid of labor and environmental regulations, workers have expressed extraordinary solidarity for frontline workers and those afflicted by the virus. China, now recovering from its outbreak, is donating medical supplies to other countries. Vietnam has waged a successful public health campaign at home. It has donated 500,000 masks to European countries and sent 450,000 hazmat suits to the US. Cuba has sent healthcare workers to 22 countries in Europe, Latin America, the Caribbean, Africa, and the Middle East to help fight the pandemic. 217 Cuban health professionals arrived in South Africa, and South Africa has sent protective gear and other supplies to Cuba. In contrast, Trump has cut off funding for the World Health Organization. He's escalated his economic blockade of Iran, Cuba, and Venezuela, and has increased military provocations against them. By using the immense reach of US global power to choke off medical supplies to those countries, Trump is using COVID-19 as a biological weapon against the people of those countries.
As COVID spread around the world, struggles in the workplace merged with expressions of solidarity. In Indonesia, grassroots efforts are raising funds to purchase protective equipment for healthcare workers. In India, the communist-led state of Kerala has been hailed as a model for beating the coronavirus. Supplies and medical treatment were delivered to people's homes by community teams in every village. In other parts of India, groups that had been protesting the central government's anti-Muslim law have pivoted to providing food to those left out by government programs.
In the US, as the Trump administration and Republican Senate have attempted to block protection and relief for the people, new coalitions have formed demanding pay and benefits while off the job, full protection, support, and hazard pay for all essential workers, moratoriums on rents, mortgages and debts, and free health care. Tenants in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, and other cities called rent strikes on May 1st, while billionaire David Geffen tweeted around from his yacht, "I'm avoiding the virus. Hope everyone is staying safe."
But workers on the job are not safe. In the U.S., over 140 strikes demanded safe working conditions. GE workers protested inadequate safety measures while demanding the company rehire laid-off workers to build ventilators for coronavirus patients. On May 1st, at Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, and Amazon, thousands of workers walked out to protest dangerous conditions. In a global online May Day rally, Amazon workers from around the world expressed solidarity with sisters and brothers in the U.S. Other non-union workers are learning to stand together, like the grocery store workers who organized and won safer conditions. Catherine Cupo, a nurse at Yale New Haven Hospital, got widespread community support and won a 5% pay bonus for all workers there. Nurses in New York called for patients before profits. From coast to coast, medical workers organized against dangerous and abusive working conditions. Around the world, healthcare workers face similar dangers and are waging similar struggles.
Meatpacking workers are protesting a lack of protective equipment and the elbow-to-elbow work, which has resulted in high rates of infection for workers in their communities. A large majority of these workers are African American or immigrants, many undocumented. One worker said, "I can't touch my kids because a lot of people in the plant are infected." Instead of being deployed to fight the virus, ICE agents continue to raid immigrant communities here and actively spread COVID-19 to Central America by deporting infected people. Immigrant detention centers in the US, as well as prisons, have been turned into potential death camps. But immigrant rights groups, unions, and allies are fighting back with solidarity. In New Haven, community groups distribute food and cash to hundreds of families, as do thousands of grassroots groups throughout the country. Car caravans call for closing detention centers.
In 1929, millions lost their jobs almost overnight in the Great Depression, but the working class fought back. 90 years ago, under the banner "Don't Starve, Fight," workers rallied on May Day. They organized unemployed councils, fought evictions, and demanded jobs. As people were called back to work, they brought their experience in organizing and Black-white unity with them. They built unions, won Social Security and unemployment insurance, and weakened Jim Crow racism. In this COVID-19 crisis, in the US and other countries with right-wing governments, the corporate elite is increasing their wealth and power at the expense of working people, democracy, and the planet.
But look at the healthcare workers, the workers at Amazon, at meatpacking plants, at McDonald's and Stop and Shop, the sanitation workers and teachers, even the people working 12-hour shifts to process unemployment claims. All workers who for the first time are recognized as essential. Look at the millions of people at home and without income, working with family, neighbors, social networks to plug the gaps left by a hostile and incompetent Trump administration. Who can doubt that new attitudes, consciousness, organizing skills, and sense of solidarity will be felt in our communities, our workplaces, and our elections? So at a time when we are confronted with natural catastrophe, joined with the power and malevolence of the corporate elite, on May Day 2020, the working class gives us hope and confidence.
It's unacceptable that Black and Latino and low-income sisters and brothers are being hardest hit. None of us is safe until all of us are safe. We're fighting for our lives now, but we can't go back to the way things were. We want to come out of this struggle set to organize our collective power to restructure for a Green New Deal that raises everyone up with healthcare, union jobs, and a peaceful, sustainable environment that puts people and planet before profits. Workers of the world, unite.